Welcome to the Wine Cage. I'm Dylan.
I'm Amanda.
And on this lovely autumn evening, we are drinking Punter's Corner Reserve Cab Sav 2021. Now, we just picked this up today. It was from a retailer that we sometimes go to where they often have these specials where the wine is marked down a decent amount. In this case, it was retailed at $35 and marked down to $25. And I have to admit, I'm a sucker for that, not just because I'm a tight ass, partly because of that, but also because to me, it's like a game. I want to see whether the wine tastes like a $35 wine or does it taste like a $20, $25 wine? I'm always curious. I always want to know. And they're clever too, because these ones that are marked down are always ones in a gift box. You know, there's kind of wines that come in a gift box. And so, yeah, that's a bit of fun as well. I've left the box over there. But this is the wine. It claims to be a Reserve Cab Sav 2021. So before we find out whether it lives up to its recommended retail price or not, as usual, let's have a chat about the label and the presentation. Wolfie's already bored. He's yawning, producer Wolfie over here. So let's see if you can regain our producer's interest with your review of the label.
I don't think much is going to capture his interest at this time of day. We always film this pretty much just before we feed him dinner, so he's come to form an association with the Wine Cage and getting sweet chicken bits.
He's pretty good considering.
He is, yeah. When we don't do this, he just walks around the house screaming. So this is there's another reason we enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
All right, complete sidetrack there. Sorry about that. The label, yeah, this is a pretty normal wine label. It's tasteful. It's got a nice finish, sort of semi-gloss to the paper. There's a tasteful sort of spot gloss on the Punter's Corner here, and some nice kind of muted gold foil on this sort of chessboard pattern here, and the Reserve. It's very conservative, and as we often talk about on this show, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're obviously going for a certain market when they choose to go with a conservative label, a more interesting one. We talked about one sort of recently that was pretty crazy, and we sort of guessed with that they were going for maybe a younger, more hip kind of buyer base with that, which I imagine might be a little difficult to kind of tap into as a wine seller. But this one's definitely going for its sort of, I would say, usual kind of...
Yeah, now, but this one, I know what you mean. It's safe, but it doesn't look like your classic, typical wine label design in that it's not white with scented writing and a bit of red. I actually thought this one was kind of weird with all this dead space. And then it's interesting you said chessboard. I saw that as like a racing flag, like the checkered flag at a racetrack.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's kind of unusual in that sense. It doesn't look like your typical, Penfolds label.
That's true. Now that you mention it, it is more on the modern side. I would still say it's on the conservative side, which again isn't a bad thing when it comes to wine labels. It just means that they probably want to play it safe. And with the whole gift box thing, I guess they're probably wanting to market themselves as something that you would bring to a dinner, maybe.
I think also, wait a minute, I think we're missing the whole point here too. It's Punter's Corner, so... It's some reference to something that is obviously of zero interest to us. It's punters. It's something to do with sports or racing or something. We don't know. We're art nerds. We have no idea what any of this stuff is about.
What is sport?
Yeah, sport ball. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a reference to something. But as you say, it's a classy label.
It's classy.
It's dark. It's got the gold foil. So it's quite attractive. And it came in an equally classy, dark gift box. So, Could be a good one as a gift, actually, if you're looking for a gift to someone. But that's slightly spoiling our tasting notes. So that's the presentation for it. Let's see how, firstly, it looks. What do you think about the look on this one? It's quite dense, isn't it?
It's nice and dense. It's a little purpley.
So it's a Cab Sav, but it's a inky-looking Cab Sav.
Inky, yeah. It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and quite a lot of purple in there, right?
Yeah.
It's not at all the rusty colour that we've had in some of our recent tastings. This is a deep purple.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a look. How does it smell? Now I forgot to bring my notes over, but that's fine. I remember. My thoughts on the nose on this one was that it's leathery, a little bit spicy. But other than that, quite a simple nose. You have to dig for that. What do you think?
I picked that up as well. I think there's a little bit of what I like in a nose, which is sort of a fruitcakey kind of smell. It's a little bit fruitcakey with a vanilla-y custard kind of smell.
You're right. It does have, there's a bit of fruits in there in amongst the leathery spiciness that I'm picking up.
Yeah, but it's very nice. It's a lovely nose.
It's a nice nose. It's promising. It's one of those aromas that you smell it and it, for me, gives you that exciting feeling you get when you step into an old winery that has a lot of stone, wood, and wine barrels. So, very pleasant nose. Let's see if it delivers on the taste. Do you have any tasting notes on this one, Wolfie?
I don't think he'd be interested in tasting it, but
not until he's had some of his gravy in chunks.
Yeah.
So for me, the taste on this one, it comes in real heavy in a great way. It tastes like the kind of wine that's going to have a lot of sediment in it. I don't know if that's a valid tasting note or not, but that's how I read it. It tastes like you're drinking something heavy, a Durif or something. I mean, it doesn't taste like a Durif exactly, but it just tastes heavy and like there might be a bunch of sediment in the bottom of the bottle. For me, that's a big plus. I really like that. It's rich, heavy tasting. It still has that periphery of spice. And for me, on the exit, it becomes very smooth, very balanced. It's got a watery and smooth exit. So for something that has this sort of heavy, rich punch up front, to have such a very smooth and balanced exit is quite impressive. So I'm really enjoying this one. What do you think?
Yeah, this is great. This you're right. It really like smacks you in the face up front with the spice, but in a good way. It's very like wow, like zingy. It's sort of tangy even.
But sorry. What's that word again for when you visualize tastes or sounds?
Oh,
synesthesia.
Synesthesia.
I've got a bit of synesthesia going on with this one. To me, everything I'm saying is below the middle range. It's in the bass region, not in the treble region. So when you say it's like zingy or tangy, are you getting high-end tangy zinginess?
Well, I was about to get to that. Those are the opening notes, one might say.
Okay.
But then it kind of mellows to that delicious sort of vanilla-y smoothness. There's no nasty aftertaste. There's no bitiness or anything like that. It's just like wow at the start, and then it just kind of softens.
Yeah, it's very dry. That's the only thing. We haven't had it with food yet, so we're going to find out in half an hour when we have this with dinner how it goes with food. I think it's going to go great. My only slight concern is that it's so dry that I can feel that dryness in my mouth.
Puckering your mouth a little
exactly,
bit.
like building up. That's the only thing, but it's a very minor concern that I don't even think is going to be borne out when we actually have it with food. Otherwise, I love this.
It's great.
It's great. It delivers on the promise of its RRP of $35. This tastes like a $40, even a $50 wine. Absolute bargain. Definitely recommend it. Definite repurchase for us, especially at this price point that we got it at today. What do you give it out of 10?
I'm somewhere between an 8 and an 8.5.
Oh, nice. Impressive.
Myself.
Yeah. I think I'm going to sit at that 8. It's a very good 8. I'm just that slight dryness. I'm like, I feel like I need to have a sip of water.
I think I kind of like that.
I do kind of like that as well. I'm not even necessarily saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a pretty intense note in the taste. But yeah, I'll say an 8. If you're hovering, should we just say a unified 8?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so an 8 out of 10 for this one. This is Punter's Corner Coonawarra Reserve Cab Sav 2021, made for James Busby Wines, which I don't think this review of ours is out yet, but we do have an actual Busby review coming out for one of their other wines as well. So
I think it might even be the one that will be preceding this one.
Okay, was it last one?
I think so.
Okay. So yeah, might have 2 in a row that are technically for James Busby. So that's worth noting.
Nice work, James Busby.
Someone who knows anything about sport, or I mean, is this about betting? Is it about horse racing? We don't know. We're art nerds. We're probably going to watch anime tonight. But we do like our wine as well. So if you've had a good wine recently, maybe a good heavy earthy one like this, please put it in the comments. I'm going to keep saying this until someone actually does that. I know some wine people watch this, so please start telling us about the wines that you've had that you've really enjoyed so that we can look them up. We'd love to hear about it because anything to do with wine kind of excites us. Otherwise, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Wine Cage.
Cheers. Thanks for outing us as anime nerds.
I'm going to edit all that out.